G'day everyone, how's it going? All right, welcome to Python. We're going to do this is our first lesson, so I'm going to do some checks on some names just to make sure we have the right people here, and then we will get started. Okay, so we have make sure that you have your software installed. If you don't have your software installed, then maybe now is a good time to raise your hand to let me know that you're still getting your software installed. Okay. All right. Welcome, Alicia. We got Cherry. Hello, Cherry. Clayton. Hello, Clayton. Eric Z. Welcome, Eric. Felix. I haven't seen you for a while, Felix. Hope you're well. All right. Hody. So Yat Sum and Yat Long. So is that an S?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you and your brother using the same computer?
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. As long as you guys are okay, all right? So so make sure you turn on your computer and maybe take turns typing or something, okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, all right. Great. All right. And then we got Ryan. G'day, Ryan. How's it going, Ryan? You going okay?
I'm doing good.
That's good. That's good. Have you been doing any Python over the holidays?
No.
No, that's all right. Oh, I'm sure you wouldn't have forgotten too much. All right. We got Yihan, g'day. I think we're missing a couple of people, but that's fine. I think we have a good set of people. All right. So welcome everybody. If you haven't seen me before, my name is Gary. So there's a few people here who are starting Python for the first time. Oh, hello, Lisa. I'll mark your name down as well. Most of you have met me before, but some of you are starting for the first time. And so that is why today we're going to go through a few of the basics just for the benefit of people who are here for the first time, okay? However, if you have been here before, then I can also set you a little bit of a task, okay? So you haven't done any Python over the holidays. That's okay. That's okay. I think a lot of people are in the same boat, so don't worry too much about that. Okay, Jonathan, how's it going? So don't stress is what I'm meant to say. But Python is supposed to be something that you practice just like a language, right? If you're learning a new language, you gotta keep on speaking it and gotta keep doing things with it. So the best thing to do is to practice Python either by looking at your old files that you've written before, or retyping some of the old activities, or going online to look for activities to do, okay? You can never do too much Python. Python is a very popular coding language. In fact, Python is now the most popular coding language in the world. It is used by scientists everywhere because of something called machine learning and artificial intelligence. Python is great when it comes to doing maths. So if you love maths and if you love robots and you love doing work with computers, then make sure you practice your Python, okay? And then one day you'll probably get a job doing something with computers, okay? And you also earn a lot of money, right? That's the most important thing, is that you work in computers, you earn more money, right? So it's that's something that is always a really good thing to have. All right. And Cherry, how's it going, Cherry? Haven't seen you for a while.
Hi.
You going okay, Cherry?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Have you been working on your Raspberry Pi?
Yeah.
Oh, good. So make sure that if you do work on Raspberry Pi, that's an excellent excuse to keep on working on your Python as well. All right. So why do we learn Python? Well, Python, like we said, is a coding language. It lets you understand computers a lot more when you are speaking in a language that computers can understand. Python is also a very great language that helps you branch out into different languages in the future. So one day you might decide, well, I want to work in bionics, or I want to work in video game design. I want to build video games, or I want to work in animation. Then if you know Python, then it's going to make learning another language really easy. It's like if you learned Cantonese, then it's going to make learning Mandarin really easy, right? If you learned another dialect of English, then it makes learning different dialects of English really easy. Same thing with coding. If you learn Python, then it makes learning other coding languages really, really easy. So that is why we're learning Python. And also, Python is going to help you with your homework, especially if you're starting high school or if you're going into more complicated kind of classes like video game classes or robotics classes, then Python is going to be really, really helpful as well. So that is why we do Python. And now that everybody is here except for like 1 or 2 people, is there William? I think I'm missing a William. That's okay. I'll have to send him a message with this video afterwards. But that's another thing. If you miss this lesson, or if your internet cuts out, or if you needed to go to the bathroom or something like that, and you miss some of the video, don't panic, okay? You can always send me an email or ask your mum or dad to send me an email to say that you missed some of the lesson and you just want to see the replay, okay? I'll send you back the replay and you'll be able to rewatch it. Okay, no problems at all. One thing that I do ask you to do is that as we type things in Python, I want you to keep up and type out as much of it as you can with me. And that improves your typing speed and it improves your typing accuracy as well. Okay, today we are going to talk you through what our plan is for this term. Okay, our plan is for the majority of this class, or as many people in this class as we can, to do a coding competition called OUCC and AIO, depending on how old you are and how experienced you are with Python. I want most of you will probably be doing this competition. And it's an individual competition and it's very fun. It's not very stressful, but you do need to know a little bit of Python. Okay, so in the first few weeks, we are going to learn go through some of the best principles of Python. And also during this time, I'm also going to give you challenges as well. Okay. And while we're talking about some of the basics, if you have already done the basics, I will be giving you specific challenges as well. So there are a few people in the class who have done Python for a few terms, and you probably don't need to do some of the basics. And in which case, I will tell you that there is a specific task to do. Okay, so keep that in mind. And if you have any questions as well, feel free to let me know. Okay, you can let me know by raising your hand or sending me a message in the queue and a button. All right, I'm going to share my screen. So if you haven't done this before, hold on, where are we? Yep, here we are. All right. Let's open idle. I'm going to open idle and then share the screen properly. Hold on for a second. Because sometimes this screen share is not working properly. Share screen, portion of screen. Here we are. Okay, now we got it. Okay, so when you open idle, you start off with this thing called a shell. And this shell is not where you would normally do your code. You have to hit Control-N or hit the File, New File button. So File, New File button over here in the menu to start an actual Python file. Okay, and today we're going to call this one. We are going to call this one. Let's call this challenges. Let's start with challenges. So I'm going to go into my PC, go into my projects. Actually, where are my projects? Huh. So save your file as challenges1. But make a folder so that it is term 1 in 2022, right? Because we don't want to get them mixed up. If you have challenges, a challenge file from previous term, then we don't have to worry about that. Okay. So today we're going to talk, go through all of the basics first. And if you have already done the basics, then I'm going to send you a link with some challenges. So these people are Alicia Cherry. Alicia Cherry. We'll start with Alicia Cherry first. Everybody else, I want you to follow along with the review, okay? What did I do? Ryan, do you not see this screen?
I do. It's just I'm not too sure what you did just then.
Oh, nothing. I just created a new file called challenges1. Have you done Python with us before, right?
I have. I did a new file, but how did you like name it?
Oh, you just go file and then you go save as.
Oh, okay.
Yep, no problem. Sorry about that, guys. So while everybody's getting their file ready, I'm just going to get Alicia and Cherry to do a couple of challenges for me. So if you go to Google Python challenges, I'm also going to put this in a into the chat for you. Okay, hold on for a second. And then I want you to tell us about this. Hold on for a second. I'll put the link in the chat. Okay, hold on for a second, Alicia and Cherry. I'm just finding a one that's going to be quick for you. All right. I just posted a link with a challenge on it. I want Alicia and Cherry to just be working on this. Everybody else, I want you to follow along with me. Unless you want to also do the challenge, in which case I want you to send me a message first, okay? So that I know who is attempting the challenge, because after you attempt the challenge, after we've finished talking, I'm going to go through and ask you to explain your answers, okay? On speaker. All right. Good luck, Alicia and Cherry. So let's start with our Python objects. Okay. Got to share my screen properly again. All right. So how's it going, Clayton, Lisa, Johan, everybody? Okay. So when we're creating objects in Python, we use something called an object name, and then we define the object type. And when we define an object type, there's two ways to do it. Something's called, we have an implicit casting and explicit casting. And does anybody who is not doing those challenges right now, can anybody explain what it means to be explicitly casting or implicitly casting? Who remembers? So if I go my fave number equals 20, all right? Does anyone know if this is implicitly casting or explicitly casting? Not sure? Okay. So when I am typing this my fave number, then my fave number, so make sure that you are typing this as well, okay, if you haven't done this before. Number is the object name, okay? And 20 is the value, okay? When we type in my fave number equals 20, then we are implying that my fave number is a number, okay? And how does Python know that it is a number? Python doesn't read my object name. It doesn't say, oh, my fave number. Oh, it's got the word number in it. It must be a number, right? Well, Python doesn't read that. What Python reads is your value here, okay? And the value is 20. So this example is called implicit casting. This is because we don't say what object this type is, okay? We just say my favorite number equals 20, but my favorite number could have been a string, or it could have been a list, could have been a number, right? It could have been any of these, but I didn't say what it was. I just gave it a value and said 20. So this is called implicit casting, okay? But what is it, explicit casting? If I said my fave number equals int 20, then oh, I gotta put my fave number 2 here because I don't want to mix it with my fave number, the first one. Hello, Momo, welcome to the group. We only just got started, so you're not missing out on much. Just start typing, okay? So my fave number 2 equals init 20. Then my fave number 2 is now being explicitly casted. Explicitly cast, okay? Because we are telling it that it has to be an integer. All right. So that is what it is. Any questions so far? Does it sort of make sense? So make sure that if you have any questions about this, you have to let me know, okay? All right, let's do another one. Why do we have object types? So we have 20, which is an integer, but then also we can type in a special type of number, right? If I go my fave number 3 equals 3.5, then 3.5 is another type of number. Who knows what type of number it is? Someone who's not doing those challenges, if possible. Clayton, good. Decimal. That's a that's not the exact term that we use, but that's really good. Good guess. Felix.
Was it like a float or something?
Fantastic. Oh wow. Clayton and Felix, excellent work. It is called a float. So a decimal number in Python is called a float. All right, Alicia, do you have a question for me?
Oh yes. I was just wondering what double// meant.
What double/ meant? Well, actually, that's a good question. Do you think you can investigate it for
I
us?
searched it up, but it doesn't turn up with anything.
Double/ is normally depends on for some code, it just means it's another type of comment, but maybe you can investigate that for us.
Okay.
Cool. I'll also maybe Alicia and Cherry, do you guys have a way to contact each other while you guys are working on that challenge?
No, but if
I don't think I can't create a breakout room, I don't think. But I'll let you guys just work on it individually. Is that okay? Just for now. And then if you guys finish the challenge early, then you can tune back in. All right. So a decimal number in Python is called a float. Okay. So and you can check the type of an object by using the type method. Okay, so we can check the type of an object in Python with the following. Okay, so we can print type my fave number. Okay, so this is going to print out the type of the object that you put into the argument. Is my screen too small for people? Is everybody okay with the screen, or is it too small? Raise your hand if it's too small. Okay, I'll make it a little bit bigger for you, okay? All right, that should be a bit better. Is that better, Ryan?
Perfect.
Great. All right, so if I ever wanted to check the type of an object, then I use the type method. Okay. Now here's a question. Who remembers why we have different object types in Python? Who wants to suggest why we have different object types in Python? So the reason we have object types in Python is, if you imagine, if I asked you to build me something, to build me a container to hold some water, okay? So let's say, I'm just going to pick a random person here to maybe answer a question, okay? So let's go with Johan. Johan, if I asked you to make me something that can contain some water, what would be one of the questions you would ask me?
How big it is?
Yeah, that's right. And that's an important question, right? Because how long is a piece of string, right? How much water is water, right? And that's exactly the same as what Python is asking you as the programmer. When you create an object, when I say my favorite number, it's an object, right? And then when I say it's 20, Python goes, yeah, okay, it's your favorite number is 20. But I have to think in terms of what Python is thinking. Python is thinking, I need to create some sort of container to hold the information that you want. And just like if I was asking you like to create me a container to hold some water, you're going to ask me how much water do I need to hold, right? Is it a cup of water? Is it a bathtub worth of water? Is it a swimming pool of water, right? It's going to make a big difference what I build to contain your water. So Python doesn't have limitless resources, right? Your computer is just limited to what your memory has. So it can't make it so that every container that you give it is going to get ready to hold all the information in the world, right? So that is why Python needs to organize it into object types. Now, some object types, like integers, are just numbers without a decimal point, because just by adding a decimal point means that you are adding more information to the code. Whereas sometimes you might not even need numbers. Maybe you need words, because if you're doing words, then you don't need to do any mathematical calculations like you need to do with numbers. So different object types require different things, and that is why we have object types. Feel free to raise your hand if any of it doesn't make sense. Okay, so that is why we need different object types, because our computer has limited resources. Okay, so different objects will have different capabilities and have different object types. Okay, that's just something to keep in mind. All right, I'm just going to check in with Cherry. Cherry, how's it going with your initial challenge?
I'm done.
You're done? So you're
Yeah.
you're just following closely with us now, right?
Yeah, I'm just looking for more challenges and stuff.
Cool, cool. Well, you can also engage back with us here if you want to, okay? But if you once you've finished if you found another challenge, you can also work on that and then send it to me at the end of class, all right? Same with Alicia. If you finish your challenge, you can send it to me at the end of class. And also anybody else as well. Anybody else who feels like that they are up for challenge questions, they can do them and then send it to me at the end of class as well, okay? In case you need to find any other stuff to do. All right, so we need different object types because our computer has limited resources. So now that leaves us to working out how to manipulate this to our advantage. Okay, so let's do a special one here. Let's write a program that checks if you are an adult or a child. Yeah, okay, yeah, adult or child. Oh, let's do driving. Let's do driving. Let's go. So here in my code, we're going to write my age equals input how old are you? Okay. And then we're going to say if my age is more than or equal to 16, then it's going to print you are old enough to drive. Else, print you are not old enough to drive. Okay. Now, if you run this code, you'll probably see a problem. Oh, we got hands up. Yes, Eric.
Can I take a try?
You're gonna have a try? Yep.
So, how, never mind.
Never
Sorry.
mind. That's okay. How about you after you've typed the code and run it, see if you can solve the error that pops up, okay?
Okay.
Cool. Cherry, you have a question?
Where do I work, right? Because, well, it's a string and then it'll just cause an error.
Very good. Yes. So that's an excellent bit of insight there, Cherry. Well done. So if I run this program, it's going to ask me, how old are you? Okay, because we want to set my age to be how old you are. So I'm going to put in 36. I'm getting so old. And then I press enter. Comes out with this error that says, type error. It's the greater than or equal to symbol is not supported between instances of strings and integers. So who wants to explain why we got this error and how we can fix it? Eric.
So, I'm still sure that you only included the ones like from 16 to 1, I think.
I like the way you're thinking, but there is something else. Let's have a look carefully at what we're trying to do, right? The error says there is a type error, which means that something is not the correct object type. So use that as a bit of a clue. Felix.
I think for the else part that you have to like type in like if your age is smaller, is like younger than 16, then you say print even if you're not old enough to
That's
drive.
a good guess as well, Felix, but that is not where the error is. But fantastic thinking. No, this actually does work. If my age was 36, if it's greater than 16, it should say that you're old enough to drive. Otherwise, it should say you're not old enough to drive. Where is the error, Eric? Oh, did you have your hand up from before, or?
Yeah, I think just from before.
All
Sorry.
right. No worries. How about how do you start the program? How do you start the program? You hit F5. You press F5, or you go run, and then you press run module. Yeah, it's in my bag, Sam. Yes. Skittles. There you go. All right, go. All right. So, okay. So the error. Let's get Alicia to see. How are you doing, Alicia?
Oh, hi. I was just doing the last one. I just got none.
Okay. No problem. Do you want to explain why we're getting this error?
Oh, I'm sorry. I need to read through all the code first. I wasn't paying.
Oh, actually, sorry. Yeah, I forgot you were going through your thing. I'll let you keep on working. Okay.
Okay.
No worries. Okay. So the reason we are getting this error is because my age is being treated as something other than a number. How do I know that? That's right. Yeah, Alicia's posted it right. Yes, Eric.
Because it has quotation marks.
Yeah, well, actually, it's not these quotation marks, but the input will assume that whatever you type in the
Oh,
the
it's
console,
supposed to be int
that's right.
bracket input, right?
Very good, Eric. Very good. So we can also dissect this error by putting something like this, by going print the type of my age. Okay. If I run this, you'll see that after I type in 36 for how old I am, it's going to say that 36 is a class of string. The object type is a string. And that can't be right. Like I can't compare how a string and a number together. It's like saying, is the number 36 bigger or is the word apple bigger, right? It doesn't make sense because one is a number and the other is a string, which is a word, right? So in order to turn it from a string back into a number, we need to do what Eric just said, which is to explicitly cast the my age into an integer. Okay, so how do I do that? All I have to do is put in front of the input int, open bracket, and then close brackets at the end of everything. Okay. Good solution, Alicia. I want you to create a separate Python file for that and then email it to me. Is that okay? And then continue on with the class if you can. I'll check it and then I'll send you the feedback as well. Fantastic. Cherry, how did you go with your challenge question?
Yeah, good.
You've already finished it, right?
Yeah.
Can you yeah, zip it and send it to me as well?
Okay.
Cool. Excellent. So, oh yeah, Alicia, do you have a question?
Can I just copy and paste the entire file to you, like send it to you via Gmail? Because I've never done that, and I'm just more comfortable like copy and pasting.
Sure. Yeah, you can send it to me that way if you like. Thank you. All right. And then choose another challenge if you guys want to, because we're still talking about the stuff. Yeah. Okay, great. So Felix has got his working, which is a great sign. And also, the reason it works is because my age, we force it to become an integer, which is a number, right? We forced it to become a number by explicitly casting it as a number. Okay. So if I run it now, how old are you? If I say I'm 10, it says you're not old enough to drive. Okay. If I run it again, if I say I'm 50, it says you are old enough to drive. Okay. Checking in with Ines. How are you going? Is yours working?
Yeah, it's working.
Good.
It's going pretty well.
Do you understand? Do you understand the object types?
Yeah. Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. So make sure you let me know if you have any questions. Clayton, how are you going? You okay there, Clayton? Okay, Clayton, make sure you let me know if you're if you need any help. We have a question from Cherry. What happens if they type the number in words? Well, that will be a lot harder to deal with, right? If they typed it in words, you'll need to have some sort of word library that converts it back into an integer. But that is, I think there is something like that that exists. So good work, good thinking. Checking in with Momo. How are you doing with the code, Momo? Do you understand the code? Did you catch up with the code afterwards as well?
Yeah, it's working.
It's working, right? Do you understand what we're talking about with the object types?
Yeah.
Yeah. Does it bring back memories?
Pardon?
Does it bring back memories? Is it something that sounds familiar to what you learned before?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. All right. I know that sometimes if it sounds like I'm repeating a lot of this, it's because it is so important, and because I'm not sure if you have been doing programming in the holidays, I need to make sure that you guys are all refreshed. Okay. Okay. One last person, Lisa, checking in, is seeing if your code is working properly. You okay there, Lisa? Lisa,
I'm good, thanks.
you're good. So if does it make sense, the object types?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. Make sure you let me know if anything is not making sense or not working. All right. So now let's because we're going to do a lot of challenges in functions in the next few weeks, we're going to work up towards that coming up. Okay, so let's save our challenges1 file, and then I want you to create another file called challenges2. So challenges2. Why do we create more files? Because I want you to separate the different files rather than to separate it by lesson, because we're going to be doing a lot of rapid fire stuff. Can I slow down? Okay, I'll slow down a little bit. So the second thing we're going to learn I mean, not the same thing we're going to learn. I'm sure you guys have all learned this before, but we're going to review it, okay? And that is for loops and while loops, okay? If you know what a for loop is and a while loop is, then great. Do 2 loops, one with a for loop, one with a while loop, both of them counting from 0 to 10, okay? If you don't know how to do that, then follow me. But if you do know how to do that, or if you have an inkling as to how to do that, or you have an old file lying around that tells you how to do that, then do that. All right. So I want you to do a for loop that prints the numbers 0 to 10, and then a while loop that prints the numbers 0 to 10 as well. But if you don't remember how to do that, I'll teach you how to do it now. Okay. A for loop is a loop that repeats a fixed number of times. Okay, so a for loop is good for if you know how many times you need to repeat something. For example, if you wanted to do a loop that says that tells you how many sit-ups to do, like, you know, you want to do 50 sit-ups, then you'll use a for loop, right? If there's an animation that does a sit-up and you want to repeat it 50 times, then it's a for loop. Okay, so a for loop is for when you know how many times you want to repeat something. So to make it count from 0 to 10, we're going to do this: for I in range, and then we go 11. For I in range 11, go print I. So if I run this, you'll see that it prints the numbers from 0 to 10. And even though we wrote the number 11, it's because in the range function, the range method, we count up to, but not including the last number. So if I say to count to 11 in range, it counts up to 11, but it doesn't include 11. It only goes up to 10. That's what the range method does. So that's one way to count. We can also add second and third arguments to range. So for j in range, I can go 0, 11, and that will make it so that it counts from 0 to 11. Inclusive of 0, exclusive of 11. So that's going to do exactly the same thing, but it's not going to, whoops, I didn't put my colon in there. It's going to do exactly the same thing, but it's not going to but we're going to specify exactly what it's counting up from, because by this in the first example, we're by default counting from 0, but for the second one, we're telling it when to count up from. Okay, so and then we can go print j. So keep an eye on, you know how I add these variables in. When I say I, then I always make sure that I'm printing I from the I loop. For the j loop, I'm printing j. This j could be anything. It could be like booger or something like that, right? And I can say, okay, print booger. All right, so it's exactly the same thing. And then it will just print 0 to 11. I can also print, say, from 50 to 70, because I can specify exactly when to start counting and when to stop counting as well. Okay, so this letter, by convention, we always start with I and then J and then K, L, M, N, O. But if you wanted to, you can also change that variable to whatever variable you want. So here is counting from 50 to 70. Finally, we can also specify the step size. So if I want to count from 0 to 100 in steps of 5, then I can go for K in range, 0 to 100, and then add the step size, 5. So we go count in steps of 5 from 0 to 100. So here, if I go print K, then it's going to print, see, 5, 10, 15, 20, all the way up to 95. What are you doing, Sam?
I want to play with you.
Sammy, I'll come play with you after class, okay? I've got 10 more minutes. Okay. Okay, see you later. All right. And then finally, we have our while loops. Okay, while loops are used when you want to repeat something during a condition. So you don't know how many times you want to repeat something. You just want to repeat something when there is a certain condition met. For example, if I wanted to hammer, if I was programming a robot to hammer a nail into a piece of wood, how many times does it need to hammer the nail? Well, I don't know how many times it's going to hammer the nail. I just want to hammer it until the hammer disappears into the wood, right? Or I can have a really big number, right? I can just have like hammer it just 100 times. But then that's going to waste a lot of energy. So in those circumstances, we will want to repeat something during a certain condition. Okay, but in Python, we're going to give you a simple example. So we can go x equals 0, And then we say while x is less than 10, print x. So this is exactly the same as counting up from 0 to 10. But here's the problem. X starts off as 0, and then it's always going to stay at 0 during this while loop, because 0 is always less than 10, right? So during this while loop, we need to increment x. What does increment mean? Increment means to find whatever x is right now and then add to it. Plus equals 1. That's how you increment. Incrementing x by 1. Okay, so plus equals 1. So if I run this now, then it's going to print out 0 to 9. Is anybody on any questions so far? Am I going too fast for anybody? Is anybody completely lost? Is it sounding familiar? Raise your hand if this stuff is sounding familiar, but it is still okay to learn again. Yeah, okay, good. So raise your hand if this is too easy. If this is too easy and you don't want to hear it again. No problem. So if you find that some of these are easy, then next time we will give you some separate challenges as well. Just like with some of the older students, then you can do some of those challenges with them at the same time as well. Okay, but only if you really 100% fully understand the basics. Okay, because we have OUCC coming up in the second term, and the basics need to be solid, because all they test you on are the basics, right? You're not going to get tested on really, really hard Python. You're going to be tested on the basics, all right? So make sure you fully understand it. But I am very glad that you are giving me honest feedback, okay? I know that this class has a lot of kids from advanced classes. Some of them are just starting out as well. So don't be afraid of asking me questions. There are no stupid questions. And I will not get cranky if you ask me questions over and over again. As long as you let me know that there is a problem early on, okay? If you see something that you don't understand, you have to let me know so that I can spend more time on it with you, okay? All right. Now, about challenges. I'm going to post up a link with some Python challenges. And then I want you to choose one challenge to do for your file on challenges to Python, okay? So I'm going to post a link in a moment. Just give me a sec. And I want everybody, every single person here, to choose a challenge from that link. And then you have to try to solve it inside that file, okay? Okay. Just give me a moment. And if you can't do it during the lesson, then try to do it after the lesson, okay? Oh, we need to find one that is actually the right. We used to have. Give me a moment, guys. I think the link has changed. There used to be a bunch of Python challenges. If you haven't already, make sure you save your file. It's so weird. All right, here we are. Found it. So this is what I want you to do. I'm going to post you a link in the chat. I want you to choose one question from these challenges. And then I want you to copy the question inside an email to me so that you tell me, or actually you could just put in the link to the actual challenge that you chose, okay? And then you tell me, and then I will, and then you can attempt it sometime after class. You can also do it now if you feel like you're very adventurous. Most of these challenges will probably take like 15-20 minutes, okay? But if you can't do it, that's okay as well. Just tell me this is a challenge that you tried to do, but you weren't able to do it, okay? And then send it to me so that I can see if you need any help, or if it's too difficult, then I can find some easier ones for you as well, okay? So, oh, cool. We got a turtle. Someone has drawn a turtle program. All right, let's see what this person is drawing. So let's go create a new one. So in case you're not sure, do you remember turtle? Oh, hold on. I need to put it up in a in another file. Here we are. Okay, let's save this. All right, let's see what you drew. Hey, nothing actually. It doesn't work. No, the turtle just went flying off the top of the screen. So, not sure what I was supposed to do, Cherry, but it looks like it sort of worked. Need to make a text file. Oh, I need to make a text file. Oh yeah, that's right. I'll do that another time. I'll do that another time. Okay, everybody. Does anyone have any questions about the basics that we talked about today? Is everybody okay? Is anybody discouraged? I hope everybody finds it very familiar so that we can do some harder stuff next week. Is it okay if I do some harder stuff next week, or is the basics good? Good so far. Ryan.
I think the basics is just fine.
Basics is just fine. Okay.
Yeah.
No worries. Well, next week we'll be ramping it up a little bit harder. Still going to be basics, but I think everybody should still be paying attention with the basics, because it can be a little bit easy to forget if you're not practicing all the time. Alicia, you have any feedback?
Oh, no, not about that. I was just doing one of the challenges. I was doing one called the double six game. I think it's the second one from the top if you look at the list. And I was wondering if there was any way to like make Python wait a few seconds before
Yes.
rolling the dice again.
Yes, it is called the sleep method. Okay, so all you have to do, for example, if I want to go create a file that's
coding to the chat without the sleep method, and it just comes up with a bunch of numbers, but it works.
okay, so yeah, this was what I was thinking. It's like print I and then sleep 10, for example. this should make it have a gap. So, okay, it's 10 seconds, is it? Let's try it again.
Do you have to like import sleep or something? Or like
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it would be a sleep method, but I don't know exactly what the
okay.
thing is. But yeah, look for a sleep.
I'll see about that then. I'll
Mhm.
go search it out.
Yeah, search it up. All right, everybody. I hope you had fun. Let me know if you have any questions, and send me your challenge answer if you feel like that you can do some harder stuff. Then do a challenge for us. Show me what you got, and then gives me a bit of a visibility on what you can do as well. Okay, because I know I want to do things that are harder as well. But we'll work our way up there because everybody is working at different pace. All right. Okay. Oh, you import time and then do time.sleep. Gotcha. All right. Well, I'll see you guys later. Okay. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.